Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another big video. And, I feel like everyone's kind of left scratching their head of like, what the fuck is going on in the Pokemon market? What's really happening? And, like when you see a box like this hit $2,000. And so, from a few different YouTubers I've been watching the past couple days, PokeRev, he was saying about 151 how the Charizards went down, and well, that's a good sign that prices should come down. And, I feel like everyone's so out of touch with things that it kind of blows my mind that someone like PokeRev doesn't know any better, but I think he does know better. He's just kind of plain dumb. But, you know, I could be wrong on this one, but he, pretty much just like, I don't know, like, he kind of plays dumb on this one where he's like, well, a couple of singles went down in price, so the market's crashing really hard. And it's like, really? I mean, yeah, I mean, a couple of singles are seeing retraces, but now you're seeing like all these sword and shield boxes go way higher than they've ever been, like Evolving Skies hitting 2 grand, from being at 1,300. You're seeing, Obsidian Flames. I remember buying this for 160. It's up to like 240 now, like just Chilling Rain taking off from the 300s to 400 plus. Brilliant Stars hitting 450 plus. Fusion Strike hitting 850. Um, you know, and this leads me to my next point is another YouTuber. I forget what the hell his name even is. He's like a kid or something. He's like fucking like 20 or something that makes videos. And, he was saying that it's just whales that are just buying everything up. And that's the problem, and that's why prices have went so high so fast. And I don't think that's the case actually. And I'm going to say why. Because like people would say, oh, it's people like Alpha Investments or me that's driving the prices up. And quite frankly, I mean, I'm not really buying anything right now. I haven't bought anything for a while. Um, maybe if I get Chilling Rain here for this sale, I might buy a case, but that's clearly not going to just drive the market up. So where are we with this? So he was saying, oh well, the market, you know, can't handle this, and it's just a bunch of whales buying stuff up, and I would say that's not the truth actually. I think what you're actually witnessing is more average people buying stuff than ever. Like people that normally don't buy stuff are now buying stuff. Like new blood. Because like let's face it, most of the old blood, they've spent all their money investing in all this stuff, and they're like just chilling on it, like so they're not really like purchasing a shitload more, or like people that do have more money, they're just like, man, I already have so much stuff, I don't want to really add more and more and more, and take on more risk. So I don't really think it's those people. I think it's just there's a lot of people that are like brand new into this that are like that just caught on, just joined in the market, and they're seeing, you know, like the learning the history of Pokemon and seeing how like Sun and Moon ran away from everyone. Like that these were $500 a box and they're now $2,000 a box. With Sun and Moon era stuff, and they're seeing, well, wait a minute, why wouldn't Chilling Rain just do the same thing? Why wouldn't Lost Origin at least go up to 1,000? You know, and that's kind of just the mentality. I mean, I'm not saying everybody's thinking this. Like, if new collectors are thinking that, they're pretty damn far ahead of their curve, but I still feel like a lot of new collectors are still like your average working people that work a 9 to 5, and they're just looking for a safe place to put their money that isn't stocks or crypto. They're saying, well, wait a minute, if I buy Chilling Rain for 400 and now it's going to be 800 in a year or 2 years, I might as well just buy it. You know what I mean? And kind of see what happens. And it's just like I feel like a lot of new people by the hundreds of thousands are just joining the hobby, and They may not be buying like tons of cases, but they're grabbing like one Evolving Skies box or one Fusion or, a Fusion, a Lost Origin, or, trying to maybe build one of every Sword and Shield set. Like they're at least trying to grab like a little bit of that booster box action. And there's just not enough booster box action to fill what people want. And that coupled together with a bunch of people like myself that believe in these products long term, that, I think Chilling will hit $1,000 a box. I think you guys know my opinions. The drill. Lost Doors will hit 1,000. All this stuff that we're all like, well, we might as well just buy in now. Like, might as well buy a Lost Origin. Like one of my friends, they just bought a Lost Origin box for $25 like 3 days ago before prices went up, because they, obviously knew about me talking about it. And, now they're way up on their money. $5.95 is, basically what Lost Origin's at. And now we did see a little bit of retrace with Fusion Strike. It went to $6,000 a case. And now I see one on TCG Play for $5,000. So I mean, if you want to get on, a Fusion before it gets any worse, there is one case on the market for $5,000. So like maybe it was like a little too fast yet, and we might see like some slight retraces back down. Because I mean, yeah, you're gonna have people that were like that maybe had a case on Marketplace that they were trying to sell for 3,500, and now it went up to 6K. So they're like, well, sweet, now I can hurry up and sell mine for 5K, and they get bought out. So that's why you tend to see that. But like then the price is kind of still set at that 5K till they get flushed out, and then they move up to 6. And but there's not enough people coming to market for it to really shock me that I don't think that these price rises are justified. The demand's definitely there. The supply is not there. And, people want a safe place to park their money. And right now, most people are kind of waking up to the fact that there is not really a safer place to put money than in steel booster boxes. And that's just kind of where things are, and now but you're also seeing the combination of, a lot of stuff being ripped open, and now it's harder to find, like it's a big beret of things that are all combined in one. And that's kind of what's causing all this madness to happen. But like, also the fact that, these boxes are 4 to 5 years old now. Like they're getting older. They're starting to become the new Sun and Moon era, and now Sun and Moon era is like blasting out of the stratosphere. X and Y's already like completely went to the moon and back, so like that's what you're witnessing right now. And a global obsession over the prices of these things. I mean, everyone right now is on their feet of like, what the fuck is going to happen? Our price is going to keep going higher. Our price is going to go back down. Our price is going to like go back down and then go right back up. I personally think they might drop a little bit. People will get bought out, and then they'll go right back up, and then even higher. But like, I don't know like how people don't see this, but like these were $1,300. Like last month, and all the internet has done is talk about it for the past, 3 years, saying Evolving Skies is going to hit 2K. It definitely should hit 2K, guys. It should hit 2K, guys. It should hit 2K, guys. Every fucking video. That it eventually gets drilled in everyone's brain that, like, yeah, this should be a $2,000 box. And I mean, should it be worth that? I mean, if you're opening it, hell no. Like, it probably should be like $100 fucking box or $200 box, But if you're collecting it and you really want the box for your collection and you enjoy having one of every box, then yeah, maybe it is worth it. And, for people that are investing, it's pretty worth it because, like, a lot of people think, I mean, it could go way past 2K. It could be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I mean, who knows, in the next couple of years. And I think people are just realizing I might as well buckle down and buy it now and not have to FOMO, 2 years from now, if Evolving's like 3 grand, good thing I bought it for 1,300. And I know a lot of you that bought Evolving at like 750. You know, and you guys are just stunned by the results, and a lot of you have more faith now that you've seen it. Like it's a combination of that too. Is like there's a lot of people that have more faith now because they've been in the hobby for a year or 2 years. I have a friend that's been in the hobby for about a year now, and everything he's bought has just went up. Like tremendously. Like where he's getting 70 to 100% gains a year. So he's more confident now to buy booster boxes and say fuck it. Because eventually you hit that stage. At first you worry if something drops a little bit, 10%, you're terrified and you sell, or if it goes up 10%, you're terrified and you sell. But most people are just like, no, I'm just going to fucking hold the box because I like it. I'm going to buy some more boxes and I'm going to double down, you know? And that's what one of my friends did. Like, they don't own a whole lot. Like, they don't have a crazy collection like I do, but they have like two Fusion Strike, boxes. They picked up, I don't know, a couple months ago, and they've done incredible, and they see the results. And, they're thinking, well, hey, Lost Orange don't do the same thing. So he bought another Lost Origin case. Now, if the prices didn't move at all, I don't think he would have bought another Lost Origin case. Another Lost Origin booster box. So even the smaller people, not just the whales, are realizing like I should probably grab at least a few booster boxes. So if they do go higher, at least I have a couple, that like let's say they just blast off into the stratosphere and, become like fucking three, four, $5,000 boxes. At least they have a couple, you know. So I think you're witnessing that a lot, and that's why people are more confident to pay these prices. I know myself, like I thought I would never pay 500 for Chilling Reign or 400 for Chilling Reign. I was going to be happy to sell my Chilling Reign for 300 at one point, but after seeing what I've seen, I'm pretty confident that it may not happen today, tomorrow. Like if, I may buy Chilling Reign for like 430 today, but I'm pretty confident even if it dropped down to like 380 and I messed up, like that it will eventually correct itself and it'll go up to 1,000. So you're just witnessing a storm of that, and everyone's so hyper focused on the prices of these things every day, checking them every day, talking about them, that, you know, the inevitable's happening, but you can't even say it's just people talking about them either, because it's also a combination of these boxes are getting harder to find. You know, not as many exist anymore as what happened 3 years ago, so like it's a combination of everything, but this always happens in the markets. When it comes to Pokemon, just the older it gets, just the more expensive it is. And especially when it comes to booster boxes, So that's where I think we're at. It's just a combination of just everything. Not even like an influencer or anything like that. It's just like we're in a thing where just everyone feels way more confident in Pokemon than cash, than crypto, than everything, like I know pharmacy techs that have gotten into Pokemon, funeral home directors that have gotten into Pokemon, like car dealerships that have gotten into Pokemon, like entities that would have never been in Pokemon if they didn't see how like safe it was and like how good of an investment it was for the most part. You're just seeing tons of people flock in it, and that's bringing all kinds of new money, all kinds of new demand. Because I remember for a while when I had tons of boxes. Like, dude, no one would hit me up for Pokemon. No one. Now if I put a good deal up for something, I will have a shit ton of people hit me up on Marketplace and other apps. So it's just like, that's where we're at. Like the demand is highly, highly there, and everyone is in it, and everyone's trying to find a deal, and you know, that's why I say don't feel bad for any of us. If the prices drop, don't feel bad for any of us. And if the prices go higher, don't feel bad for any of us that missed out or didn't, because at the end of the day, it really is just like people that own boxes selling to other people that want to own boxes so they can profit. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't feel bad for really anyone in this hobby, because it really is just like a giant clusterfuck of people talking shit on you for buying and calling you stupid for buying years ago. And now they're pissed off because they didn't buy. And, the other part of it is just like the people that are buying at these prices, they're just like, like fucking assholes about it. So like the people that are complaining that they can't find Pokemon, like they're being assholes about it usually, that they just want to buy it so they can make money off it and sell it real fast. So I mean, like it's pretty hard to feel bad for anyone, or the people that want to rip it. They just want to get steals for it. So I mean, it's just like it's a big clusterfuck, and I don't see things getting any better. And that's just how things are. Like me personally, I'm actually hopefully gonna pick up some prismatic Pokemon Center ETBs. I'm hoping to find the Pokemon Center ones for 200. I'm gonna try to at least pick up a couple of those just to add them to my collection, because seeing Evolving Skies Pokemon Center ETBs hit 750 each kind of reassured me that maybe right now is a good time to pick up some prismatic at least. Well, I can, even though, like I said, I prefer booster boxes, but, I'm definitely going to try to pick up a couple booster boxes for the TCG sales too, but, yeah. But this is pretty much where the market's at. It's madness seeing all this go down, but, it kind of just is what it is. You know what I mean? So, it's just like, what can you do? Like I was telling everyone to just buy and hold and just be patient, because even at these prices, like I probably should sell everything I own right now. Well, the market is insane and just cash out, but it's just like, I just really don't want to, because I just don't want to spend the time like recollecting more boxes and spending way more money for them in the future, so, like there's a combination of that too. It's just none of us want to spend way more money in the future. So, like none of us are really selling. We just want to kind of continue to hold. A lot of people feel that way. It's probably not going to get any better. Even though we bought at cheap prices, we still just don't feel like we'll be able to, buy back in a year from now for what we would sell it for now. We'd have to pay almost double a year from now. So, like I said, it's kind of a combination of everything. The perfect storm. Um, like even myself when I was trying to sell Lost Origin cases for like $3,000. Which shit, what is that like? I don't even know the number on it, but either way, like what was it, 250 a box? Is that what 3K is? Or no, that's like what, 500 a box is 3K? Yeah. So yeah, 500 a box is 3K. Like I was trying to sell them, I think a little cheaper than that, like at 2,500 or 2,600. And like I knew Lost Origin going to 3K was kind of inevitable, because Brilliant Stars was at 2,800 to 3K for a case. So when I seen Lost Origin at 2,200, I knew it was inevitable. That's why I refused to get rid of my 2 Lost Origin cases for 2,200, because I just knew it was inevitable that it would be worth way more than 3K. So a lot of these things, in my opinion, were justified to happen. That Lost Origin should be more expensive than Brilliant Stars, that Fusion Strike should be more expensive than Brilliant Stars. So, and Evolving Skies obviously should. So, you're kind of just like seeing that hierarchy take place as well in the community of like, yeah, these prices are kind of set to be where they're at. But I still think there's a couple that haven't been set right, and Chilling Reign and Twilight Masquerade are both one of them. The rest of them have been pretty set close to normal. Lost Origin I still think has potential to hit 5 to 6K. That, yeah. So there's definitely some good plays still, some arbitrage. But other than that, yeah, I mean that's kind of a breakdown of my opinion of what's going on and why the prices are so much higher. And like I said, it is a gradual thing where prices do slowly go up anyway. And sometimes they go up a little faster than normal. Sometimes they go slower than normal, So that's just where things are. Like Fusion set dead for like a month or two at 400, and no one really wanted it. So for to see a giant leap now, it's kind of just catching up. For the past 5 months, it was dead. Like sometimes the market gradually goes up like this, like normal, and then other times it's just like it goes up slightly, goes back down a little bit, goes back up slightly, goes down a little bit, and then, so that, like, I've noticed that happen a lot, and that's just what you're kind of witnessing. That's why I was telling everyone to buy in at these certain times, that it would just get worse. And, like I said, for those of you listening to me, congratulations. But those of you that didn't, you really missed out on probably the easiest money you'll ever make. But yeah, so that's everything we have for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We're out.